These are my top 25 albums of 2025. An album this personal, with much of the material about his breakup with longtime partner Amanda Shires, well, this could only be a solo acoustic release from the alt-country icon. This is how a legacy arena rock band does what it does best without sounding like a tribute act to itself. Put this on as a background listen, and it sounds like Hayes Carll made a Tom Petty record produced by Todd Snyder. Pay attention to this album and you'll hear some vivid, darkly humorous lyrics about disillusionment, self-doubt, the strangeness of modern American life. I always like to joke that every song Craig Finn writes is about making a plan with a man that he met in Spokane. And there's no shortage of geographically informed songs on what is possibly the Hold Steady frontman's best solo album to date. The album's first single, Spike Island, is one of my favorite songs of the year, so I had very high hopes for the first studio album from Pulp since 2001. Not every track is a home run, but if you've missed the Jarvis Cocker-led band's dramatic take on Britpop, I'm just going to say it. The Hives are the AC/DC of garage punk. You know what you're going to get, and you're going to be satisfied. 2024 was not the best year for the Black Keys. Ohio Players had its moments, but that whole tour cancellation thing, management issues. Time for a fresh start in 2025, and No Rain, No Flowers is just that. It's sleek, it's easy to digest, a well-crafted album. It maybe lacks any all-time classics, but there's zero filler here. 2022's Back from the Dead continued the hailstorm trend of intentionally rocking about 15 to 20% harder than the previous album. Thankfully, Everest sees Lizzie, I don't need no stinking eye to spell my name, Hale and Company, explore a more varied sonic landscape to drop their best album in nearly a decade. Hey, do you remember Mazzy Star? The second album from Sabrina Teitelbaum, otherwise known as Blonde Shell, gave me some serious Fade Into You vibes here and there. I haven't been able to get the track In the Event of a Fire out of my head all year. The new phone books are here! Mike Portnoy is back! Mike Portnoy is back! And somehow it seems like maybe he was never gone. A really strong album from the cinematic prog metal icons. You can only afford one new vinyl this year, but you're into fuzzy grunge, pop, alt-rock, shoegaze, and power pop? Mama! Their 10th album, co-produced by Nick Raskulinecz of Foo Fighters and Rush fame, makes heaviness feel sensual and softness feel dangerous. You know, Pulp got all of the Britpop love this year, other than, those Gallagher fellas and their little tour. But I liked Suede's Antidepressants quite a bit more. In a lot of ways, this very post-punk informed album pays tribute to Susie and the Banshees, The Fall, PIL. Really an album more about singing than rocking, but it is amazing just how well Plant's voice has aged. I'm not saying that making a more positive, hopeful album means this is a better than average garbage album, since, Shirley Manson and company sound just as powerful and confident as ever, but it didn't hurt. Uh-oh, we're adults now. Gotta make adult songs. Good job, Wolf Alice. Grammy-winning hardcore band Turnstile drops their second album in 2025, apparently with the intent of winning a Grammy in every other category in 2026. What can't these guys do? I feel like I'm getting away with some low-key mischief when I listen to this band. The lyrics are as deadpan as it gets, but the vibe is just almost too fun. This Bob Ezrin-produced reunion of the original 1970s Alice Cooper group is sneering, swaggering. It's an epic groove-first riffs-filled gut punch to anyone who thinks Cooper is over the hill. A shockingly good album. Perfect for listening to in a car that lets a lot of road noise into the cabin. And I mean that as a compliment, I really do. These are solid songs, clearly inspired by 90s alternative rock. You could play this album loud without getting so angry that you'll have an aneurysm. A debut album from a band that's been playing together for years, very cohesive. Who's Madeline? "11 songs, 31 minutes, not as intense as a Husker Du record, not as melodic as a Sugar album, straightforward guitar pop, drenched in punk and post-grunge." A rock opera concept album inspired by Shakespeare, Mozart, The Who's, Tommy, the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, the Bible, and various other religious texts. Did anyone else release an album inspired by Shakespeare, Mozart, The Who's, Tommy, the fall and rise of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, the Bible, and various other texts this year? No! This is not an album, it's a journey. A lot of people get distracted by this band's love affair with occult imagery. Trust me, this Tobias Forge-led theatrical metal act spends far more time worshipping Blue Oyster Cult and Meatloaf than Satan. Scalata, by the way, is the best album in their catalog so far. These guys are all 23 years old, been playing together since they were 16. By the time you get to the end of it, you just might think that someone put Neil Young, Nick Cave, the Rolling Stones, the Strokes, LCD Sound System, Pink Floyd, Radiohead, Deerhoof, Television, and Ween into a blender, and then poured that blender into another blender full of jazz, funk, indie rock, art rock, no wave, experimental rock, prog rock, and gospel. This album is either the end of rock music or a whole new beginning.